Would you like to learn some different ways to say, I think it's going to rain? Would you like to learn some different ways that will help you sound fluent in advance and more natural, just like a native speaker? Well, let's get started. First of all, there's nothing wrong with saying I think. I say it all the time, but I have many other expressions in my vocabulary that I use as well, and my choice depends on the situation I'm in. So let me share all the different alternatives that you need. First, let's talk about everyday situations. Let's take the statement, it's going to rain. Instead of I think, you can say, I'd say it's going to rain. I'd say. This is a contraction of I would say, but native speakers use the contraction. I'd say it's going to rain. You can add to that and say, if you ask me, I'd say it's going to rain. They're exactly the same, it's just something nice we add on. I believe is going to rain. This is the closest alternative to I think, and it's very commonly used. It seems to me that, the way I see it, to me, it's going to rain. All three are used to really show your personal opinion. My close friend always says, I reckon. I reckon it's going to rain. I personally don't say I reckon, but I really love when she says it. I prepared a free lesson PDF that summarizes all the expressions from this lesson, so you can find that in the description and in the comment section. Now you can also say it's going to rain and then add that's my take on it. This is a very common expression, my take on it. Take is your assessment, how you see the situation. That's my take on it. So you first share your opinion or statement and then say, that's my take on it. You can do the same thing with the idiom, that's my 2 cents. 2 cents, that represents opinion. Is going to rain, that's my 2 cents. Now let me share some more formal expressions that you would use in a job interview, a conference, a work meeting, or other formal situations. Let's say your opinion is we should revise the report. Revise means make changes to. We should revise the report. Of course, you can say, I think that we should revise the report. You could also say from my perspective. This is a very common one. It sounds quite advanced. From my perspective, we should revise the report. Of course, you can simply say, in my opinion, we should revise the report. And that does sound more formal than saying, I think. You could say, it's my view that we should revise the report, or it appears to me that we should revise the report. Keep in mind the word that is optional. We generally use it in written English and we generally exclude it in spoken English, but that's not a rule. So you could say, it appears to me we should revise the report, or it appears to me that we should revise the report. Both of these are correct. Let's talk about some expressions that express certainty. Certainty, 100%. So let's take our statement, we should promote John, Lucky John. Now, if you're 100% certain, you could say, I'm sure, I'm certain, I'm positive we should promote John. You could say it's obvious that we should promote John. You could replace obvious with indisputable, which means nobody could dispute it. It's indisputable that we should promote John. That sounds very firm. I like that one. Indisputable. It's undeniable. It's unquestionable. It's beyond a doubt we should promote John. John must be really awesome. Now let's say that you do want to express some uncertainty or some doubt. So it could happen, but maybe it won't happen. You could say, it's possible that she's going to get the promotion. Instead of possible, you could say it's probable or it's likely she's going to get the promotion. I figure or I gather that she's going to get the promotion. One I really like is I have a hunch. I have a hunch that she's going to get the promotion. When you have a hunch, it's more based on your intuition rather than external evidence. I have a hunch that she's going to get a promotion. I just have this really good feeling. You could say, correct me if I'm wrong, but she's going to get the promotion. But if you say, correct me if I'm wrong, you're admitting that you may be wrong. You could also say, if I'm not mistaken, she's going to get the promotion. Again, there's some doubt there because you could be mistaken. You could say, to the best of my knowledge. To the best of my knowledge, she's going to get the promotion. Let's talk about some expressions that sound more diplomatic. So diplomatic because you might be introducing an opinion that people don't agree with, or that is the opposite of what most people think. So maybe all your coworkers think that John should get the promotion, but you don't. So our statement is, John isn't a good fit. He isn't a good fit. To be honest, in all honesty, John isn't a good fit. Now remember, this is something that a lot of people don't agree with. So you might want to say it with some regret. To be honest, in all honesty, John isn't a good fit. I'm sorry to say it, but John isn't a good fit. If you want to be more neutral, you could say, one could argue that John isn't a good fit. Everyone else is saying he is, so you want to be more neutral and talk about how he isn't. One could argue that my impression is that John isn't a good fit. I saved my favorite for last to be diplomatic, and that's, I get what you're saying, but John isn't a good fit. Now in this case, get means understand. So if you want to be more casual, informal, use get. I get what you're saying, but John isn't a good fit. If you want to be more formal, you can say, I understand what you're saying, but John isn't a good fit. Now you have so many different ways to say, I think that. What was your favorite expression? Mine is probably I reckon. Even though I personally don't say it, I don't know why, but I really like how it sounds. Reckon. I reckon. Plus, you get to practice that really strong R. Reckon. I reckon that it's gonna rain. Share your favorite in the comment section below. Now, I have so much more to share with you, so you can check out this lesson to keep improving your vocabulary. And you can download your free speaking guide to help you speak English fluently and confidently in 6 easy steps. You can get it from my website right here. And I reckon that you should get started with your next lesson right now.